Hey guys, this is Nate with Cobra Tech Knives. We design and build dependable knives and tools for people who actually use their gear and rely on it every day. Today, we're going to dive into a topic we've been asked a lot about, which is how to self-maintain your OTF knife. All right, thanks for tuning in. If your OTF isn't deploying correctly, if it's misfiring, not locking up, or if it's feeling sluggish, most of the time it's not broken. In fact, the majority of those issues we see are not mechanical failures, they're maintenance issues. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to fix most OTF problems yourself so you can ensure long-term use of your knife. Let's talk about why OTF knives tend to act up in the first place. So under the hood, an OTF knife is a mechanical system. You've got a spring under tension, a track system, and moving components inside a relatively tight space. But because of those tight tolerances and moving parts, an OTF is typically more sensitive to debris, pocket lint, dust, sand, even excess lubricant. Most deployment problems happen because something inside is slowing the mechanism down. Now let's look at some common problems you might have with an OTF and how to fix it. All right, let's look at misfires when the blade won't fully deploy. If the blade comes out partially and then stops, that's actually a safety feature doing its job. Dual action OTFs like ours are designed to disengage if they encounter any resistance. That includes internal resistance from debris. So let's fix this. First, what you want to do, point your knife downward. Use compressed air, like a can of compressed air, or you can even use an air compressor, something like that. Air compressors do tend to work best, but canned air with a straw nozzle will work really well. Now fire that into the knife several times. Just give it a good blowout to get all of that excess dust, debris out as much as you can. In many cases, that alone can clear out the issue. Now, do not immediately assume that it needs warranty service just because the knife isn't deploying. Doing what I just described on a regular basis is typically going to be enough to keep that OTF firing properly. All right, let's look at sluggish action. If deployment feels slow or weak, the most common cause is either debris buildup or too much lubricant. This is important. OTFs do not need heavy lubrication. Over-lubricating actually attracts more debris to get stuck inside. So we're going to fix this. First off, with your can of compressed air, you're going to blow out the knife like we've done before. Now secondly, we're going to be adding some knife lubricant, and for this we're going to be using Cobra Tech Venom. This is a cleaning and penetrating solution designed specifically for OTF knives. It's designed to block oxygen from the steel to reduce corrosion, while also lubricating the moving parts for smoother performance. So we're going to put just a few drops down the knife, don't overdo it. Once we've done that, we'll let it sit for about 2 minutes. If you do use Venom, be sure you shake it well before applying. All right, so you have the lubricant and it's set for about 2 minutes. Finally, we're going to use our compressed air to blow out the excess solution as much as possible. Now with your blade deployed, wipe off any excess solution. Make sure you get off as much solution as possible. You don't want too much left on the knife as it will attract more debris. The benefit of using a light cleaning solution specific for OTF knives is that it will attract less debris than a thicker lubricant. We recommend using Venom, which you can find on our website. We designed Venom solutions specifically for use in our OTF knives. Another great question we get is about blade play. OTFs will have a small amount of movement just by design. It's not a defect of the knife. Because the blade travels on a track system, it can't be as rigid as a fixed blade or even some folders. A small amount of movement is normal. Now for loose screws, what you need to understand is that there are ways to prevent screws from backing out, but they come with risks to your tool. One of the most common ways to keep your screws tight is to use a very small amount of thread locker. Blue Loctite is what we typically recommend, and we even use that on a few of our knives. However, what you need to know is that it is possible for thread locker to bleed or drip down into the components of the knife, and that's definitely not what you want. So it needs to be used with caution. If you do use thread locker, please be careful and only apply a very small pin dot size drop to the upper thread just below the screw head. Otherwise, this is just a simple maintenance issue of tightening down the screw heads using the correct T-star shaped driver. CobraTech uses T-screws rather than proprietary screws so that you can maintain your own knives at your discretion. By the way, we do sell screw kits on our website for our knives, which also include the driver. If you have any questions about which screw kit to use, please reach out to us or leave us a comment below. That about wraps it up. This should help you resolve 90% of the issues you encounter with your OTF. And if you still have questions, please feel free to reach out to us or drop us a line down in the comments. We're always happy to help you out. I hope this was helpful, so be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We do release weekly videos covering knife culture, maintenance, troubleshooting, product reviews, and practical use. Also, please consider becoming a CobraTech Insider. That's our free weekly newsletter that includes insights. Plus, you'll be the first to know about any new product releases, discounts, and much more. It's all free to you, and you get 10% off for signing up. If there's something you'd like us to break down in a future episode, let us know down in the comments. And to everyone who carries CobraTech, thank you for your support.